because of the DayZ subreddit moderators, it made me also realize I don't want to be like that. So, um, oh, let me. So, um, I see it just went live on YouTube, but it
Oh,
sounds like it picked up where I was in the middle of just
that's
saying
fine.
that shit. Um, my wife is here messaging me. Um,
Mine too.
so yeah, my daughter needed to do homework, but so I I thought, you know what? I wanted a space that was more discussion surrounding DayZ Standalone, and because the DayZ subreddit for a while was predominantly just it. It was some stuff, but it was just Meme Town, and it was a bunch of the mod stuff on, and so if you were there really kind of just to discuss the future of DayZ Standalone, it just kind of was kind of hard. So I created DayZ Bulletin, um, and then my buddy, one of the OG people for DayZ Underground, FPS veteran, his name's Mark, good friend of
Yeah.
mine. He's one of those guys I met in England when I was stationed out there that we became good friends and still talk to this day. Um, he hit me up because he had a background in web design and doing all that kind of stuff, so he could cover down on some of the CSS work that it was needed. So he and I kind of just set forth on this DayZ Bulletin journey, and we wanted to create something that we thought DayZ subreddit should look like and kind of how it should behave. And so we were doing tags with different types of content you were doing, and all of a sudden, like, it started popping because everyone was like, fuck, this shit looks good, man. Like, it was like it was so good and so popular too that the DayZ subreddit guys like had reached out to us about joining their mod team, and I said I would only do that if I could bring Mark along. I feel like there was another person or two that I kind of forced, and not forced, but just it requested into being a mod. Um, with us, and that we get the opportunity to kind of do what we did to DayZ Bulletin and do that to the DayZ subreddit. Um,
How did
and
that go?
so
Did it work?
it went well. Oh yeah, absolutely did. So we did it. We converted it, and my big thing always, as you see with DayZ Underground, is I always try to get the community involved. My wife's calling me. Um,
If you need
let
a
me
minute,
tell her.
you
No,
can
let
hop
me
on.
just tell her.
I understand because my wife was calling me earlier right before. I'm like, no, not now.
Um, so, um, So we started doing that, but my thing is I always wanted the community's involvement, like at least in a curated way, right? Like I looked at it as though you get more out of the community if you have them be a part of the journey and not just telling them what you're doing and all of those kind of things. Like um you bring them along, and so I don't. Did you ever see there was a Daisy. Let me see if I can find it. Um, the Daisy subreddit's banner that they had, where there's like the zombie that's like staring at a helicopter. It's like a real nice painted look.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
the one
I
I'm
remember
talking
that
about?
one. Yeah.
Do you know the story behind all that?
You touched on a little bit in the Boydie interview from a few years ago, but I don't think you ever like really dove into it.
Yeah, we did so I had offered to buy DayZ Standalone for whoever won this banner thing. We like it was like we want I wanted the community to send us like their best banners and that
Yeah.
we would have up there. And God, so many of like there were some that were so good, and it was like shit. Like, but we were trying to flush out other pages, and I was like, look, how about what if we as a mod team kind of all go in splitsies on it? And I think we bought like 7 copies of DayZ, the standalone, for all the people that did the artwork that put in. So we had one that was the winner that they still have up there from time to time. I've still seen it, but there was another group that did like this really awesome, like the DayZ map look that was badass. We made that the banner for the Wikipedia page. And then, like, so if you were to go to our DayZ New, that was a different one that was like one of the top ones. And then if you went to our DayZ Best, like that was a different banner. And it was different ways to try to incorporate things the community was doing because, again, I wanted to bring them along for the ride. Um, and
That
so, like,
that kind of like
yeah, go ahead.
that kind of stuck through to the Doug community, like to today. Like we do the same thing. We try to get the community involved and like I don't know how to describe it, but it's different than other communities that kind of just like here's what we're doing. You know, it's like, hey, what do you guys want to do and how can we facilitate it?
No, yeah, and seeing the Discord, I'm like, holy shit, look how many members are there, you know? And it's awesome to see the what is it at 12 years now? Like you said, you
Going
did
on
a
12,
anniversary.
10 years was a couple of years ago. So yeah, we're going on to 12 now, which is fucking wild.
Dude, it's just like it it's incredible. You know, like I almost asked myself another one of these questions there, like, would you ever come back? And not necessarily like, oh, like I'm back. Here's the Doug guy again. Like I don't mean it like I just mean like come back and play DayZ and do that. And the answer is yes if they come out with DayZ 2 and they do it right. Like
Yeah, yeah.
DayZ in its current form, like if zombies were better, I'd probably still play more because I still don't think any survival game it does it better than DayZ. I mean, DayZ has its faults, and all of us that have like are really passionate about it, you know, we know those faults, right? We
Yeah.
we look past those faults sometimes, but we know what they are, and it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy sitting here
Yeah.
doing this and it's that going that long, man. But anyway, DayZ Bulletin, that was kind of like the start of it. Once the Reddit moderators pulled us in, DayZ Bulletin kind of went less and less and less. Um,
So you
just
guys
because you had a way
left
of filtering the.
Bulletin, you guys left Bulletin that you created to go back to the Daisy mod subreddit.
Yes, because we got to kind of institute some of the goodness that we wanted to see.
Got it.
Um, but Bulletin, I don't remember if we just wholesale left it or not, or if we still, participated and still modded it and stuff. But, once we brought the aesthetics and some of the stuff that we were trying to do to the main DayZ subreddit, there kind of became less and less of a point there. There was another guy, his name was Crimson Tide, that he was also really good and really influential back at that period as well, that I think we brought in as in addition to my buddy, the FPS veteran guy.
Yeah. So that core like team that you had brought over um would eventually go on to create Doug? Was that
No, so so that's a different story in itself. That doesn't really that one doesn't really spawn from the bulletin side of things, even though those people were involved, right? I'm not saying those people weren't, but so when Dean Hall and the DayZ devs back then used to have this Skype group that is kind of was their wrangler for all of the mods and all the community managers and all those things across all the platforms, aka the Steam mods, the DayZ subreddit mods, the mods from the Bohemia site, and there was quite a bunch of us in there. And I always looked at that place, that space, as like those were like the pillars of the community that were trying to keep it together. But the problem is everyone was kind of tribal, like, oh fuck you subreddit mods, fuck you Steam mods, you guys say like, and it was kind of dumb. It was like, why are we all fighting? Like, I don't mean fighting, but it's just it wasn't like a togetherness, like in a hippie way, where everyone was like on the same page, and so it was kind of wild westy. And us new people that were DayZ Bulletin that became DayZ subreddit, we were late to the Skype party. That Skype, I knew that Skype channel had existed for quite some time before I was ever added to it. Um, and then we got added probably about a month before DayZ Standalone release, which was, what was that, December of 2013 or something like that? I think that it
Yeah, I think
was
it's yeah,
or
end of
maybe 20,
2013.
yeah, but yeah. So we got added like a month before then, and seeing it, I felt like we needed a because the idea of the DayZ Underground server and doing that did not start right away. It was more like I wanted to take the best community members that we had, because I knew pretty much everyone that was posting in our DayZ. Like, I knew who the top, say, 100 commenters were. The people with positive attitudes that weren't just white knights that just backed everything that Dev said, that you could be critical of a game that you cared about, but in the right kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that was important. People that you could bring constructive criticism, you could bring just really what you thought was going on, and no one took you for trying to be poison, like, because you knew that these were the people that were truly passionate about DayZ. And so I just said fuck it and created DayZ Underground subreddit, and I made it private. And then I just started adding, like, I was scouring all of these fucking posts, going, oh yeah, that's right, that person's great, oh that person's great. I added all of the mods from all of the things and said, hey, I'm starting this thing. I added all of them. I started adding all the people, and then it started doing it. And I was like, you know what, guys, we need to start a server with us, like, because we all need to be. I don't know. Maybe it's the military guy in me. For those that don't know, I'm retired Air Force now, but back then I was in for probably 13 years, 14 years. But trying to build some camaraderie through it, and so we I started researching getting an open server or whatever, and I figured you'd probably get into this some point, like how it kind of kicked off. But
Yeah.
Brian Hicks hit me up and was like, "Hey man, why didn't you just ask me for a server?" Like, he said it like he was all mad, like flustered that I didn't ask for a server. I'm like, well, I mean, first, that's not me and who I am. I'm not looking for shit for free. Like, we're big boys. We can figure it out. We can try to do our own thing. And he was like, "No, fuck that." He's like, "Here, we need to start testing our private servers anyway. Let's go ahead and start one, and then we'll create one for you guys." Um, Especially because, again, the nexus of the community, DayZ Underground, was either all of the people who are already running all of the communities, and then all of the best people within those communities that got added. So I think that they felt like they were good hands. And I don't remember if I touched on this in Boyd's thing or not, but the funny thing was that none of us were asked to sign an NDA stating that we had a private server already. And it was not available. No one else in DayZ, and there were plenty of other people trying to build communities, but we were the only ones that had a private server, and no one leaked that shit. No, like, it was never mentioned. It never got brought up on subreddits, and it's like it was an unspoken thing, and no one outed it. And so it was like incredible, like, that we picked the right kind of people. That didn't even forever. It didn't. No one brought that shit out. It's wild, man.
Do you think
But
that's why, like, Doug has lasted this long? Because
I,
of people like that?
yeah, absolutely. Well, and this is another thing I was gonna attempt to ask myself in that little thing you posted the other day. But I think I think one of the things too, though, and it's a testament to the others, the other mods that aren't really there anymore, and the fact that you're sitting here interviewing me right now, which is, when I left DayZ Underground, and really the DayZ community, right? It wasn't just DayZ Underground. There was no bad blood. It was nothing like that at all. I just, when you go so hard in the paint in anything in life, like like learning or whatever, you get blown out after a while. You're zapped. And I think being so ingrained in DayZ for so long, like especially and not seeing some of the things you kind of wanted to start to see, uh, I just found myself getting less and less invested in it and wanted to kind of pull away. But I also there were some people in some of the other communities that like they were nowhere to be found anymore, but yet they wouldn't let go of the ownership of a thing. You know what I mean? Like they just held on. It's like, motherfucker, you're not even part of it anymore. Like, why are you still here? Like, get out of here. Like, be gone. Like, let
Yeah.
people that care, let the people that truly care, that want to continue to cultivate the thing, let them take over. And so for me, I felt like, you know, we've built a group of people that are truly passionate about this, and everyone's passion levels are at different points at different periods of their lives or whatever. But I'm like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not like, hey, I had a great time with it, and I think it's time to pass the torch on and let somebody else continue to do that. Now, I did drop on with. I didn't ask any other admins. I just knew that he was going to be good. So Ace Whittles, like right when I was out, I modded him, like is like my last action, without asking him. And I
Shout
was
out
like,
Ace.
nah, shout out Ace. I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Ace is awesome. Bam, Ace's mod. Deuces everybody. I'm out. And that was it. But no,
Was
like
it
so pure.
burnout from DayZ or was it burnout from the community, like the Doug community, or was it a mix?
I think it was more DayZ. I don't think
Yeah.
it was DayZ. I loved running communities. I mean, I pretty much left DayZ Underground to go start a different one with Squad. I don't know, for anyone that follows the game Squad, I started a community called Squad League over there, and we got heavily involved with the devs over that side. But that's a whole different story with that. But I think Squad League had its own like potential to do pretty big things actually, and I honestly felt myself that I might join that team if and when I got out of the military, to do some of the shit that we were doing, and it was headed that way, but that took a turn for a different reason. But I know I just think DayZ, and I bet there's plenty of you out there that still know this, that like there's some stuff that we need the real next version of the infusion engine to fix. You know what I mean? Like I know Arma Reforger is their stopgap before Arma 4 hits, and to be honest, what I think is DayZ 2, but I think it'll take DayZ 2 to really take it home and fix it, But I got burnout.
That's fair. So when you first got access to the server from, what was it, Lightfoot and Hicks?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, did you
I still talk to
realize
Lightfoot too.
you do? Yeah.
Hmm.
I'd love to talk to him just from
No,
listening to his
I'd probably
interview.
say, yeah.
Yeah, get me in contact. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Did you realize that like how important that moment was gonna be? Because like you said, like no one said anything. You weren't under NDA. It was the first DayZ community server. Like it was the first private server. Did you realize in the moment like how crazy that was, or did it take some time to realize like, oh
No,
shit?
no, I don't think anyone did it. I mean, did we think it was cool that we had our own server? Yeah, definitely. But I think we just had bright eyes about all the shit we could do and wanted to do, and take the community, especially when you started aligning all the people that were what we considered like the best community members, and to start cultivating that. I think we knew we had a good path going forward, um, and especially with the people that were actually the mod crew, because everyone really cared, um, about trying to make it a good place, a good place to go play the game, and play it what we felt was the right way, because like I said, even when we came on, there were plenty of people that wanted these no kill on site servers and all that, and we were like, no, I don't. DayZ's DayZ, man. Like, you want kill on site, like that's it. Like that's DayZ, So like we kind of we even I don't know what the stance is now in Doug, but at least back then it was like, no, that shit's part of DayZ.
Yeah, it's still the same. We don't shy away from the core DayZ stuff.
Mm-mm.
It,
So
I don't think it would work, to be honest.
I don't either. I don't. I mean, you know, there are people that want those kinds of experiences, and to be honest, I think there's a space for some of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad. I mean, God, you got to think about it, even back then, man. Like, did you did you play DayZ when nighttime was like pure black?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was like black and white. Like I couldn't stand that shit because uh, almost all servers, when it hit nighttime, people just logged off. Like, I'll wait until day comes back around. And when you're running a community that only has one single server, that kind of sucks. Now, granted, these are the people that are more committed, so you had less of drop off on a nighttime than you would say vanilla, but we pleaded forever to change the nighttime, please. Like, not saying that it can't be dark, but just fix it to some extent. To try to make it so less people would get off and shorten it. Like, so if you had a 2-hour daytime window, fucking make nighttime 30 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is anymore, but just something that people aren't going to, all right, well, I guess I'm going to be in darkness forever.
Yeah, I mean, we've on Doug at least we have lighter nights. So like in a forest it's darker, and then like outside of that it's a little bit lighter, so you can actually see what you're doing. And people don't tend to log off as much, but people still do it. You know?
Yeah. No, that would be fine to me. Like, it's you have to have nighttime.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean? You can't have 24-hour daytime, like that'd suck too. But uh but yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing like back then there was no leeway with the devs. It was kind of like, no, this is it, and
No,
they
yeah,
stuck
there
with it.
wasn't. Yeah, and there wasn't. God, there was so much that wasn't. Mods weren't really a thing yet, and it was certainly the infancy of all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
but but it was a good time. But then it transitioned to, all right, how do we do the faction stuff? You know what I mean? What do we want to do with that? Who can create factions? Who can't create factions? And
Well, what
you know,
before the faction stuff, what was the like idea behind when you created the server? Like they gave you the private server, you have this blank canvas to kind of work with, and you have all these community members that actually give a shit. What was the idea originally before like introducing factions, or was that like right off the bat? It was like, no, we need storytelling, we need interactions.
well, so that was something we certainly all deliberated on amongst ourselves, right? And to the question that I asked myself in the DayZ Underground thing, I didn't want factions as they probably exist now. I'm not saying I didn't want factions. I didn't at that time, I didn't really want the community to create their own as we started allowing people in, because the problem that kind of came with it is, I don't like these guys. I'm going to create my own community or my own faction, and then you're like, you've got two people in it.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna go. You think you're gonna go like claim an area with two people? And I always looked at it as, all right. Some people, yeah, might come in and create a good story and whatever about their faction, but then others are just a group of 10 people that were friends or whatever, and they put a bandana on or a fucking hat and they're a faction. I wanted to lean more into, I thought it would be kind of cool if we created the factions. We could create backstory, we could create conflict, and then we could create events centered around the factions that we created. And then you could, like the D&D stuff, the lawful, chaotic, or evil, whatever, and you could have different factions for different kind of play styles that people might like, and then they could choose which one that they would want to go partake in, and then start to curate and do stuff off of that, because like I always thought it would be kind of cool if we could have more of like because there's a difference between, I think, moderating just to prevent people from being rude to each other and saying nasty things, and we had people that were doing these stupid sex stories like between Dean Hall and Brian Hicks that I fucking had to ban once. Like, bro, like you've got no warning. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know
Fan
what I mean?
fiction for
Yeah,
the
fanfics
devs?
bullshit.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
like it was. They were just trying to be funny, but it's like, no, dude. Like you're not what we need. You're out. And the guy played it like several times to come back, and I wasn't having it. But I just thought it would be cool to go and do that. But I think a lot of the mods didn't really want to go that route. I think they no, leave it up to the community, go do what they want to do. And I was not saying I was outnumbered. I mean, probably so, but I'm not a dictator either kind of guy. I'm like, you know what? If that's the way you guys want to go with it, let's go. And we still had all those onesie twosie factions and just whatever. But I
Yeah.
always my dream was I wanted, and I still hope this for DayZ too, especially for communities like Doug, where in Arma they have the what's the tool that you can kind of lord over the battlefield and basically play the game master
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I can't
and
think of the name
and
of it, but I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
you
Yep.
can drop in units here, you could do this. I always wanted that so that we could truly run events and we could place items throughout the map. We could spawn hordes of zombies and do certain things like with and for that. So then that way you could kind of like really have a hand. And I don't know what's available now. Like,
Do
so
you
someone could go
think
chat.
that
That's there.
having that available, say DayZ 2 and the whatever that looks like, but if you had something like that, do you think a lot of communities would screw it up? Because that's my fear. Is like people would you'd be playing and they would just ruin your gameplay experience by thinking, "Oh, this would be cool to spawn a horde here," or what and just
I
like
probably, I
yeah,
mean,
because like a lot of people
humans will
overdo
human.
things. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, humans will human, no doubt. I mean, but that community also should be punished by their player count when people find out what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so the community, in my mind, should self police itself. I only wanted it as a tool for events, not necessarily like, oh, let's just, you know, on a random Tuesday evening that we're not even running an event, let's just go drop a zombie horde near the base of
Yeah.
the clan we hate. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
So Doug,
it certainly
today,
could be too. Yeah.
we'll do we've done things where like we've created custom areas for events. So like for a Halloween
Hmm.
event, we made like a haunted maze or whatever, and we like placed it in the world for that night. Um there's been some like cult stuff that's happened. Um I, it's mixed. The community is mixed. Some people really enjoy it and they're like, "Oh, this is a fun little thing," and then some people are like, "No, it's ruining the core gameplay of Doug. It's supposed to be open and organic."
Yeah. I don't. You gotta have fun in life too sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Like if you did something like that, that's like a few days out of the year or whatever, you're like, bro, there's hundreds of days left in the rest of the year with the core DayZ experience. Like you can't shoot down all fun. And if you hate it that bad, don't log in that night. Like
Yeah, I agree. I
I
agree.
don't
I'm
know.
I'm
You
I'm
can't.
of the same mindset.
You can't please everybody, so you don't try. You know what I mean? Like you just if you can take care of a good portion of the crew, then awesome, do so. But as with anything in life, you're just not gonna please everybody, so you don't try. And
Yeah.
it'll make you happier in doing so too. Just there's just some people just don't give a fuck. Like they're just gonna take it too far.
Yeah. Was there a problem that you were trying to solve with creating DayZ Underground? Like, I know vanilla servers were just, vanilla and people treated them as like PvP type. Uh, like, was that the issue that Doug was trying to solve when it first started? Of like, just how do we get away from that
No,
and create more interaction? Or,
yeah. What does a Daisy experience look like with people that whose aim and desire is, um, you know, authentic to what Daisy is supposed to be. Because like even like I'm a Star Citizen player now. Just people that are griefers that just go out to fuck up other people's good times. You know what I mean? Like, and because that's their fun, But
Yeah.
I think the kind of people that we added, if they were going to go do that, they would probably try to do it under the banner of a clan or a faction. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those where they at least create some lore and story behind doing what they're gonna go try to do. But even then people know the rub. Like, hey, I know if I'm gonna come across this, Chernara Straza or whatever the hell the name was, that fake clan that we created,
Yeah.
the Russians. Yep.
Shania Straza, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like people knew what was up, so the whole team, the whole community can kind of battle against that group. You know what I mean? But I think for me though, at least in my mind now, I mean that was beers ago, by the way, but it was just trying to get the group of core homies together. You know what I mean? Like the people that really cared, and not just the passerbyers, or people that
Yeah.
I don't know, just didn't care like we did. And so I wanted to wrangle all of those people and cultivate it, and then that became Doug.
Yeah. So like the whitelist days where you were obviously around when those were started?
Yeah, I'm trying
How'd
to
you feel
think.
about that? Like restricting I mean, the server was private in the beginning. It was like 100 people, 150 people were allowed or had
Yeah.
access, and then it kind of
Yep.
grew once word got out that it
But
existed.
but again, that was also the catch for a lot of people, right? That was the draw. Like people were like, "What do you mean they're private? How do I get in there? What is this
Yeah.
private club? Like
It's
I
like,
want in there. Like I'm a good player. Let me tell you why I'm a good player." And it created this like exclusivity that people wanted in on. You know what I mean? Like so, it kind of like helped itself. And I mean, just the name itself, DayZ Underground. Like, ooh, what do you mean underground?
yeah.
You know what I mean? What's happening over there? How do I get in that? And and then it turned into Doug. So then it had this cool like acronym that you're just like, oh man, yeah, I'm in Doug. You know what I mean? So, and then I think the logo was actually created right when I was leaving, maybe after me. And they still hit me up occasionally when I walked away. I didn't like shun the team. I mean, hell, some of them were
Yeah.
still my friends, but um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but go ahead.
No, it's just like, do you think like the whitelist was a good filter for? Because like at that point in time, we don't have it. We have the whitelist still, but the server is open. So the community members that are whitelisted now, like, yes, they have access to the server, but they also get access to the subreddit. They get access to like the stories and lore, um, and it's like a members only channel in Discord where we discuss like things, and then they get access to the CC, which I don't even know if you know about the CC,
What's the CC?
community controlled environment we've implemented. So
What is that?
the community gets to suggest and vote on changes to the server. So it's a system where like anyone that's a member, that's a whitelisted member, can suggest a change to DayZ Underground, whether it be like a big sweeping change or just a minor change, like, hey, can we increase the loot of the spawns of this or something? And staff doesn't have to implement it, but they take it into more consideration because hopefully it's a little bit more thought out and kind of gone over by the community. And if it's a
Yeah.
favorable vote, then staff will take a look at it and see how they can kind of try to implement it, or they'll just say like, hey, that's not doable, or that's not the direction we want to go, but
Yeah.
it's a way for the community to kind of be more involved in the direction that Doug goes, which is pretty cool. And I think that kind of sticks to the core that you started with.
Yeah. No, that's kick ass. I think that kind of stuff's important, man, because it makes people feel like they have a vested interest in a say and a hand in the direction of the community that they care about. Because if you don't give them that, and again, this is just in teams in general in life, like doesn't have to be just DayZ Underground stuff, but you get more out of people. You get more of their care into the outcome of where you guys are going. And so, no, that's fantastic. It's cool that even like after me, the people's hands that I left it in, they carried that forward and then instituted in that in the next round of iteration of people that take care of and care for Doug, you know?
Yeah, we're on, I think, third or fourth generation Doug staff now.
Dude, it's crazy. But that's the best
Yeah.
part. The fact that people will walk away. I can't tell you how important I think that some of that is, because it's like, look, life happens. People have kids. People lose loved ones or whatever, you know. But it's like, don't death grip the thing that other people like because you don't want to let it go. You know what I mean? Like, let other people like take it over and curate it and keep the torch going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought that was my greatest gift almost to the thing at the end is I think pure passion kind of was the main runner of it for quite a while after I departed. Um, and I don't know what he's up to these days.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him or about him in a while. So the name is
Yeah,
familiar just due to him being involved with Doug, but
yeah.
he probably stepped away a while ago, and don't blame him.
He was always real big into Arma stuff too. He was a big DayZ Bohemia boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yeah. But what other mods are still on DayZ subreddit?
Quantum's on there.
Oh wow,
There's a couple that you would probably know.
Lord Cake, he was around back then. Pawn Daily, I think. But no, the main guy, the one that forever, he's not there anymore at the top, and that's LKS.
Mm-hmm.
He was he was the one that was just like squatting on it, and it was like, bro, you don't do anything. You don't mod shit anymore. Like, why the fuck are you still around?
Yeah.
It used to irritate me.
I couldn't tell.
Like the yeah.
Fair. But I mean, it's a good point. It's like, if you're not going to contribute or like move the thing forward, what are you doing?
No, for sure. I'm looking at. I went back to the questions real quick on the thing. Joe
nice.
asked if you could take one feature from modern DayZ Doug back in time to 2014 with you.
Yeah, go ahead. What would it be?
What is it? What, and bring it
Like,
forward?
no,
Like,
bring it back. Bring it back in time. It says, if you could take one feature from modern DayZ, so like whatever. I know you haven't probably played. You said you played like every couple of years or something, right?
yeah, I played Livonia a little bit a while ago.
Yeah.
I will probably pick up DayZ Badlands and
Yeah. Just give
go
it a
experience,
shot.
just mess around. Again, it's typically the zombies that kill it for me. Like it's a melee system. It's for those that have not played Hunt Showdown. That's like I have 9,000 hours in Hunt Showdown, right? But a lot of those hours are I went to sleep and I just left it on, right? So I would say I'll even give it a healthy dose of 4,000 hours of that are probably I wasn't playing and it was just on. But even then, that's still 5,000 hours of playtime. But there is so much stuff that DayZ 2 needs to rip off of Hunt Showdown. Like the melee, the zombies, if they could replicate the sound, oh my god, like you would have the game of all games if you could take DayZ's Bohemia's ability to create maps and authentic environments and just realism there, even the realism with all of the guns and all of the other stuff, but then take some of the mechanics out of Hunt Showdown. They would never. There is no other survival game that would come in and beat it. It would be that fucking good. Um, but I don't like. Yeah, I don't know what exists today other than that feature still from Arma that allows you to cultivate events and stuff like that. I think if you put you're right though. There could be some bad
Bad actors.
bad juju
Yeah.
yeah, there absolutely could be some bad actors, but there's bad actors already. You know what I mean? Like there's already servers that prey upon people, that try to take money from them, or that just on and on and on. So that exists no matter what, no matter what game you're playing. So it's like if you just only think of and consider that, then like you might not do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But if you could take one feature modern back in time, I don't know, because that's the thing. It's like it feels like not a lot's changed, other than like mods that maybe have added some stuff to it. But like, I would even ask you, what in 10 years, what has actually been added to DayZ
Actually, things
that
have
is
been
even
taken away. We're missing
like
things from the original DayZ. We're still missing things.
what's different? Like
I mean, the core
I
gameplay
don't
loop
know.
hasn't changed, which is a good thing, but there's a lot that obviously needs work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other thing, like, and I don't know where it's at now, and I always think that moderators can change it to an extent, but back then, just finding a car, like a working vehicle, was like an act of Congress or God. You know what I mean? So, um, it was like so it's running simulator everywhere, and
Yeah.
after a while, it gets tiresome. And you're just like, bro, I do not want to walk around for hours trying to find a damn spark plug just to get this shitty little car with no doors going. You know what I mean? Like, after a while, you're like, and then you'd fucking hit a bush. And I was
Just
the guy that
die.
would hit a bush and then it's done. And you're like, call me next year if they fix this.
I,
Let me,
I
I'm
feel like
out
that's
for a
part of the
while.
charm, though. It's the
It is,
frustration and
but when you've been doing it for so long, like after a while, you're just like, okay, I'm kind of done with this charm.
yeah, fair.
I'm gonna go do something else. And I don't like again, like even going to Arma or Arma Reforger, like you can still have some of those moments. That's part of the Bohemia jankness that everyone always spoke of. But um, but again, like I still to this day, I still think DayZ is the only one that is remotely close to getting it right. And I think if they do, they have to do DayZ 2. It's like one of the most popular games they've ever had, but it's still huge. It just speaks to it. Like, but if you did a DayZ 2 and you brought back so many of the people that even left, and you said, "Hey, watch this. You can go jump out of windows now. You have shutters on windows. You have fixed sounds. You have vehicles that truly work. You have
Working
a melee
AI.
system you have working AI. You have a melee system that feels good, that you can interact with the world around you. Like, you do that, like DayZ 2 would be unstoppable, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They got to do it right though. They can't screw it up.
I agree, and that's probably why they're off in the darkness somewhere cooking.
Yeah.
On that and Arma 4, and hats off to them too with Arma Reforger to because I think they have a new scripting language that is different from real virtuality engine than with Infusion. And by doing the Armor Reforger stuff, it allows a lot of the modding community to kind of start building itself and getting familiar with everything before they hit DayZ 2 Arma 4. And now you have legions of people that already know how to mod it, and they don't have to relearn some stuff. So I think they'll be ahead of the game.
I got a comment in chat that says, I feel like with the modding community DayZ has, they won't bother making a DayZ 2 because of all the effort put into this one.
No, I don't buy that. I'm
I
not
don't
saying
either.
that I don't buy that at all, because why make Arma 4? Like, look at all the mods that people do for Arma 3. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing is though, is that engine is it's just so dated. They those guys want to bring their shit into the true latest tech. I mean, will their shit ever look like Unreal Engine and stuff like that? No, probably not. But
It doesn't
I
need to
think we
though.
all know, no, it doesn't need to at all. You're right. Agree. And I think if they can just bring it in to where it's respectable with amongst all the other engines today, um, they'll be cooking, man.
Yeah.
And again, all those same modders, they're just going to carry forward into the next round. I mean, because it's Bohemia just pretty much has just legions of following just from that modding community aspect. So I don't. And then plus two, why wouldn't they want to double tap? Like, because the issue now is like, all right, most of the people that are going to buy DayZ have probably bought DayZ. And so at
Yep.
some point, you kind of like this new map that's going to come out that they're going to sell. There's another injection of cash
Yeah.
that they can pluck off of the at least existing DayZ community. But long term, for the uh, lifeblood of the studio, you're going to kind of have to sell a DayZ 2 and an Arma 4, and there's some other games that they've been cooking that are on other engines and stuff. And what's that one that was that one
Oh,
that was on Xbox?
I know
Valor starts with a V or
yeah.
something.
Fuck, what's it called? I'll look it up. Hold on. They talk about it all the time. Like they're very proud of it. It doesn't get a lot of love, but Vigor.
Vigor, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Let's
like
no,
yeah,
go ahead,
they
yeah.
got to keep doing that. But you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so going back to like the beginnings of Doug, what's the biggest like early community conflict that you had to deal with? Because I'm sure being in charge of a server or like a on the staff team, like I coming from my time on the staff team, like there's a lot of bullshit that gets thrown around. What was like if you remember anything, what was like one of the bigger conflicts or like issues that you had to solve when Doug was still in its infancy?
Mm. I so nothing faction wise. Like I don't nothing stands out to me there.
Yeah.
The only thing that stands out is just occasionally you have a couple poison pills, like my homie over there creating fanfic stuff. Um, and two, just because that wasn't the kind of, and I think he came in through somebody else, right? Like I don't think he was a vouched for kind of thing, and but he was definitely a talker and was always around and stuff like that. Because remember back then we didn't have Discord. Like Discord wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Like it was all pretty much
The Reddit.
the Reddit, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Maybe we created a Skype that we had people in.
I know they used to
I
have
can't
a
remember.
Fleep group
Hell,
for
I
the
don't even know what the
staff.
hell that is.
Yeah. I think that might have been after your time, but I know that.
Because the thing with Skype was that most of us were on Skype anyway because of us being in the developer Skype with everyone, so it was easy for us to create another Skype group.
Yeah.
And then I know I did Slack stuff for Squad, but I don't remember if we had Slack for DayZ Underground. I don't think so. But there had to be a spot where we were actually chatting though, because I think that's where some of it was popping up. Man, I can't remember.
It's been a while.
It has been a long time. Uh, but no, it to be honest, that side of it wasn't that bad. There really wasn't a lot of stuff. Again, it was a lot of like how many factions is too many goddamn factions? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if just from a standpoint of like, like again, it kind of goes back to why I didn't want people to just willy
Thanks,
nilly
Redstone.
create factions whenever they wanted. I wanted us to do it ourselves and try to create stuff so then you could have healthy populations within these factions and actually get to doing stuff because once you've got 30 factions watered down amongst only 100 people that are even in the community at that point, it 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 made it difficult to truly be what you kind of wanted it to be. But I think it's all worked out fine. I mean, I don't know how healthy some of it is now, but at least that was how I kind of looked at it back then. But I don't think that running Doug was ever that bad back then, like our only challenge was growing it in a way that fit in line with the people that we wanted to grow it with. You know what I mean? While keeping the underground vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like we did not want to just open it up and say come one, come all, we wanted exclusivity. We wanted it to be No, not anyone just off the street can come join this group. Like that's not the point of this group. The group was not created to be that. Um, and so that was kind of like our primary challenge is like, all right, once you've added everyone that you think you know that's good in the community, then it has to turn into, okay, my name is Chad, and I know these two other guys that aren't in here. I want well, act like I'm not the creator
Yeah, yeah.
moderator guy, but just some random dude. And I want to add these two guys. I'm gonna vouch for them, and then it's like, okay, like here we go. And then so you keep expanding, and then you realize some of them are shit, and you're like, you motherfucker, like
Yeah.
you brought in a poison pill, like you've been stained.
I mean, throughout the years, we've had like, people that are no longer welcome in the Doug community due to either repeated behavior issues or like just people that just didn't align with the server. I guess I don't.
Yeah.
It's weird to have a like, "Hey, you don't belong here" type attitude, but it's true. Like some people don't. And then
No,
and
they
then
don't. I
and then
mean, but
they come back like months or years later, like, "Hey, I screwed up, and I'd like to come." And you're like, "Well, you know, do we really want to try it again?"
I'm a second chances guy, so I mean, I think that guy that we
Yeah,
banned, like I let him back in once. You know what I mean? I want to be second chances guy. I don't
yeah.
I don't
We
make
don't.
dumb mistakes and be idiots from time to time.
Yeah, we don't ban anyone permanently unless it's ban evasion. So technically,
Yeah,
all bans are still open for them to, years later, maybe you were a kid when Doug started, like 14, 15 years old, and now you're an adult, like in your 20s, and you're like, hey,
yeah.
I screwed up 10 years ago or whatever, 8 years ago, and now I'm looking to kind of come back and
Redeem
play. Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah. And
Yeah,
like we're more than willing to like hear those people out and like but there are people in the community that have like repeatedly like 4, 5, 6 times just shown that they can't do it. And you're like, all
yeah,
right, at that point, like, there's no, like, we can't do much else, you know?
yeah. And it sucks because that's that stuff is like the lamest part of running communities
Yep.
is deal. Like I just enjoyed like trying to do the meta stuff with Doug, like growing it or trying to like think about events we could do and just things you could do to have fun with everybody. You know what I mean? Like that's centered around the game. And I think for people that have run communities before, though, you realize that if you're going to run an effective community and do a lot of stuff, you actually don't find yourself playing the game that much. You end up doing more stuff prepping and building for that than you do playing the game.
Yep.
Like there's definitely a time where it's like I might play for I might play for uh events, but like playing on a Tuesday night by myself, like not as much as I would have before because we were always trying to do stuff as a team to make the thing better. So that kind of almost became the game itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same experience. Just playtime diminishes when you're trying to, improve the server. But it's like
Yeah.
there's not really much you can do about it though. So like I'd spend most of my nights like answering tickets or doing investigations or trying to like see how I could resolve issues for other players and stuff like that. And then when it came time where I'm like, oh, I have a few hours to play, it was like, no, I don't. I should probably work on this other stuff.
Yeah. No, or your dad, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got a
Also, I have a
young kid
3-year-old,
and you
so
yeah,
yeah.
so that takes time. I mean, my kids at the creation of Doug was about your kid's age, you know what I mean? Like so my son was born in 2009 and my daughter 2010. So, like you got two young kids at that time and you're like this is taking up so much of my time and if you care about being a good father, then you got to weigh some of the stuff that means something to you in life and you're just like, man, it's time to pull back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and plus two, like I, I was stationed in Colorado at the time of DayZ's creation or DayZ Underground's creation, and hell, and the launch of the standalone. And I got stationed in Korea. Uh,
Shout out Osan.
Shout out Osan, baby. I got stationed there, like, same time you were, like, you
Yep,
know, we were
yeah,
just talking
that's
about
kinda
that
wild, yeah.
same time, yep. So, um,
Best 2 years of my
it
military
like,
career.
yeah, oh my god, it was it was I loved Osan. God, I miss the food so much, man.
I made bulgogi the other night.
Bulgogi, dude. I never
Yeah.
liked kimchi though.
Cucumber
I
kimchi is pretty
tried.
good, but,
See, I cucumbers my kryptonite. Like you just I
uh
but God, so you had that Philly place, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, that Philly place is so good, dude. I
They
miss that.
renovated the said right after I left.
Really?
Yeah, they redid the entire like that front strip outside of the base.
Dang.
Like literally the week I was leaving, they started demolishing some of the buildings and putting up new ones and stuff. So it's all different
Dang.
now. But yeah, I got to see it in its glory.
I left July of 2017.
Okay, I would have left just after that, like a
Yeah.
few months after that.
Yeah, it was good times. But so yeah, Daisy, when you're in Korea, it's hard to stay connected to the community that people are primarily playing on like US East Coast or like EU, UK stuff, you know what I mean? So you're
Yeah,
just, you're 15 hours ahead of most people and just makes it kind of difficult.
yeah.
Uh, what are the other questions that are down there?
I got one for you. Was there a moment when you realized that like when Doug was small and like 150 people or whatever,
Hmm?
was there like a day or like can you remember back then? Did it was there a moment when you were like, "Oh, this is becoming bigger than what I originally thought it was?" Or was that like always
No, I
your
wanted
plan?
it to get big. I
Yeah.
wanted to be the community. Yeah, like once we knew that thought that we could, it kind of like I don't. Have you ever heard of Shack Tack?
Yep.
So I always kind of thought that the community that they had was really cool and what he kind of curated. Now, I'm not saying I wanted to be like uh, the Shack Tack guy, Lexi, or I can't remember what the hell his name is. Um, Dyslexy. Uh,
Dyslexia, yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm not saying I wanted to be him. I mean, I always try to be careful with some things of even with Squad League when I did it. Like I cared about the community, not about Chad Tidwell, DrBigMoney getting FaceTime. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to become some big ass streamer. I wasn't trying to. I wanted to build a community that put itself first and not the people that are building the community, if that makes sense. I
Yep.
wasn't trying to build like YouTube stars or out of me or anyone else. And and none of the people from DayZ Underground, nobody was that character. Like nobody was trying to be Mr. Oh, let me stream on behalf of DayZ Underground. Maybe there was after me, I don't know, but there was nobody that was trying to be the all star. Let me go make money off YouTube content out of this shit. That was not what the intent of what we were doing. But out of Squad League, there definitely was a few actors that uh, were doing that, and that I had issues with trying to. They were trying to always get it on some of our shoutcasts that we were trying to do um, to uh, run our clan matches, and they wanted to go stream it themselves, or they wanted in on the announcement of it so that they could go get their FaceTime. And I'm like, nah, fuck you, bro. And these people are like big people on YouTube now. They're not.
Yeah.
They became what they wanted to become. But
I mean, you
yeah,
create like creating Doug. A lot of the big DayZ streamers that exist now had started on Doug, or at least in like before they were big and famous, like they are now, like 500,000 or whatever subscribers. You
yeah.
got people like Smoke, Amerced, TRMZ, like all kind of started or got like a they got more famous after playing on Doug and showing like their interactions on the server. So
No,
whether
and
you like it or
that's
not,
what's cool. Like, no, I'm
yeah.
okay with that. Like, I'm okay
But
with
you're talking about
if
people abusing it for their own benefit
no,
type
I'm
stuff, yeah.
saying no, no. Like, if you came in and through playing on our server, you're a YouTuber, you did that, then I'm all for that. Like, I want that. To me was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I fully support that stuff. What I didn't want is someone coming and trying to be on the mod team and being part of the cultivating of the let's say the company, right? The DayZ Underground company.
Yeah.
It
It
wasn't a company, so
essentially
I don't mean
is,
like
but
that.
yeah.
The org. But I like no, you're not gonna come and join this team for your self gain. Like fuck that. Like I don't want you around. That's not you're here for the betterment of DayZ Underground, not of DrBigMoney. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I vanished, I vanished. I didn't try to capitalize on it. I've never tried to say, "Oh, look at me! I've created Doug. I'm so big and important." Like never, ever. I just applaud its success and root for it, and happy to do an interview here or there if people want to do that. That's cool. But I don't, I'm not trying to do anything on the back of that history. But for all those community people, or the people in the community that want to do videos and all of that kind of shit, I hell yeah, man.
I'm glad I have your permission. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's I'm primarily make Doug content. So
No, I like that shit's awesome. But to be honest, you do need people that push the content forward. But no, we just we had a guy. He's good at what he does, right? So I'm not shitting on this dude. Like I'm trying to someone go start drama. I don't mean it like that. Like the guy was really good. He's very knowledgeable. And he runs a very good community now, and he's taken off. His name's Karma Cut. Um, but Karma Cut in his infancy was the guy that was trying to get all up in Squad League, and it was like, dude, you could just tell it felt a little self-serving back then, and it was like, dude, like we care about Squad League, not about Karma Cut.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? There's a distinction there.
yeah, being a
But
little selfish.
yeah, but I mean, but if somebody's doing videos like highlighting the experiences you get on DayZ Underground, then that's,
Yeah.
that's a little different.
So looking back on like the beginning of Doug and the early days, do you remember like what the first big story or like like that got the attention of the entire server? Like what the if you remember from playing back then?
Do you do you remember? Did you ever watch the video of the very first event we did
Is
where
that
I
a
got
Ron Fox
shot?
video?
I think so. Is that the one I got shot on the top of the building? We had everyone on top of some building, and we were all shooting the shit. And like I'm standing up
You
there.
get hit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that
So
video.
Matt
We did it.
Lightfoot is the one that shot me from a building. Like we had the whole thing set up. Matt Lightfoot was in another building. I had an alt Steam account that I had a character prepped and already ready, like at that location where I got shot from. And so the whole thing was to talk to everybody, and then boom, I got down and killed, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck, shit!" Like, go kill. Like, so then I had to log out real quick, Steam, switch accounts, go log back in, jump in a different chat channel with Matt Lightfoot, Rossum's, probably FPS veteran. Anyway, we had the group that was out there that was kind of kicking that whole thing off. You know what I mean? So that shit was fun as hell. And then we had the big Chinara Straza event that did you ever see the one with me? Like I had nothing but underwear on and was playing through one of the walkie-talkies. I had some Russian like propaganda orchestra music playing through the radio and was running like through the woods towards Chernarus or Cherno, and I had that shit blaring, and whatever team was there, they shot first. They didn't even try to talk to me. They didn't try to
Yeah.
get anything out of me, and that kind of sucked because I was like, no, we had a whole thing planned where we wanted to have them interrogate me, and me kind of tell everyone where this was coming from, so that then the whole event could go get kicked off, and everyone go to Zelenogorsk or whatever it is on the west side. And so then I again logged into my alt account, went over there, and we basically sat there for like 20, 30 minutes waiting for people of DayZ Underground to kind of show up. And man, it was so fun because you could see everyone coming in and kind of hitting the tree line, and like we knew that shit was about to pop off, and it was fun, man. That shit was super fun. But again, it kind of went back to like, if we had that type of feature that Arma has, where you have that the dungeon master kind of thing that can curate that stuff. I've just felt like, man, if we could have something like that, we could really start running cool events, you know. But those are like my standouts. I think we had a few other ones after that, but those were the two big ones that I really reminisce about and enjoyed.
Yeah, I've seen the first video you were talking about. I can't remember if I've seen the second one, but I'll try to find them and link them in the video description for people to watch. I think the first one was a Ron Fox video, and I'm guessing the second one would be someone else that was recording around that
I'll
time.
have to find it.
Yeah, if you find it, send it to me, and I'll include it because I want to watch them again too.
Um, One sec.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Because like when I first found Doug, um, obviously it was through like YouTube videos and Twitch streams and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is this?" You know, I saw like Silent Sentry was a big streamer at the time that I kind of joined, having like some crazy storyline happen, and I was watching it in real time develop. You know, and then you had like TRMZ having his like interactions with Darkest Midnight and stuff like that. Um, and then I was like, oh shit, I was like, I would love to get in, and then it was whitelisted, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm not playing. So I played on other servers,
Yeah.
and then finally got in, and yeah, I've primarily played on Doug for over 5 years now.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. So is
yeah.
DayZ Underground, is the server always um is it always full? Like, is it hard to get
It's
in?
yeah, it's for the last couple years, year and a half, 2 years. It's been there were times that we made some decisions purposely that like dropped the pop low. Like we removed code locks at one point to basically teach the community a lesson because nobody was they weren't playing well together. You know, it
Yeah.
kind of got a little too either bassy or just people, you know, griefing and stuff. So we were like, all right,
Yeah.
well, we'll take away code locks. Well, I wasn't part of the team at this time. This is the rest of the staff, but um, yeah, they took away code locks, and so no one could lock up their base. So you had to be creative, you know. And the pop dropped significantly, but it was
Mhm.
I had a lot of fun playing. Like it was more interactions, you know, stuff like that. So
So what would a new, like, if I were to go join a DayZ Underground server today and start play, like, what would I expect to deal with? I'm
uh,
not saying like as if you came in and kind of held my hand and took me around. I'm just saying like
no,
if
no,
I
new player
spawned in,
experience. Yeah,
well, I mean, so when I say new, let's say new that but knows how DayZ works, right? But
got it.
like,
So DayZ player, but
what
never
would it
played on
be?
DayZ
Yeah.
Underground.
Yes.
Yeah, probably spawn in, have a little bit of a struggle on the coast because I mean we've increased food and stuff a little bit on the coast to kind of get people
Yeah.
started, you know, just because there was a lot of complaints about the hardcore aspect when we went super hardcore, so we've gone
Hmm.
away from that. Um,
Oh, really? So what? Actually, let's touch that real quick.
yeah,
Like, so what? Because that actually is something else that was very very non-negotiable in the beginning is that DayZ Underground. I don't know what it is now. DayZ
yeah.
Underground will not have third person.
Oh
Like it
no,
was
yeah, no, we
like
will
this.
never
This
have
is
third
first
person. Yeah,
person. And this is not like tilt the camera and see who's around the corner. Like we're not playing that shit. We wanted it straight
yeah,
up
Dill, I think that is right.
hardcore.
Yeah, so um,
I'm
so
down with
during
the
like
extra food though. By the way, so I'm not
yeah.
shitting on
No,
that. The idea of
it's
that,
like,
I agree with it.
a couple extra animal spawns down south, you know, and stuff like that to kind of get people started. Because it was a struggle. You'd spend an hour 45 trying to fucking find a knife and get an animal and find some food and
Yep.
stuff. But we also like put food spawns on infected in tier 1 zones so that it doesn't spawn on infected in any other zones.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
as you get into the map, you know, you have to hunt and fish and things like that that hopefully provide more interactions between people.
Hmm.
Like you hear the shot, you go after it. Um, so there's been a lot of changes like that to increase movement around the map. Um, that we've gotten away from super hardcore, but DayZ Underground is still harder than vanilla for sure.
Yeah, no, I would want it. So even if, like, if I were around today, like, I don't.
Vanilla's super easy, so
There is a difference though between hardcore and just not fun,
tedious.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, like you said, I don't want to be looking for food for 2 hours. Like, I just don't.
exactly.
Like, let me go find now. I also don't want to be looking for hours and hours just to find a single shot rifle with one bullet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm not saying like, gee, spawn M4s down south and let people just have a shootout, but um,
No, we
you
want
know, you just
progression. Like you
yeah,
want
but the other piece though that always added that added the intensity to DayZ is that you could be some fully geared out dude 20 hours into this guy that has just all the things, and one fresh spawn that found a
a
fucking
BK.
357
Yeah.
PK whatever got the jump on you, shot you in the head, and took all your shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we
like that right there is like that DayZ don't care. Like, you know.
yeah. Yeah, I think DayZ Underground today is that right now. I think the CLE, the Central Loot Economy, has been like curated pretty heavily, and it's like very looked after to encourage that exact play style.
Hmm.
But we also didn't want it to be super hardcore anymore. Like, because at one time it was like you couldn't find a fucking gun for hours. You know what I mean? Like, you just couldn't.
Yeah.
And we were like, that sucks because as as brutal and as fun as it is and frustrating, we don't want people just being like, fuck this server. Um,
No,
you know what
yeah,
I
and
mean? So
leaving.
like,
Yeah, you have
yeah,
to worry about your server population too.
I
Now does Chernarus have? Do you guys have like
th-
a? Uh, is it only like a single server, or do you have like multiple that act as
so Doug has
one? Like,
always been the Chernarus server. It's one at in the past they've done like a public Doug because it was so popular. It was like 18
mhm.
hours a day, 40, 50 people queue. Um,
Yeah. Oh
at
wow.
one point, yeah, during COVID, it was crazy. So they created a public Doug that like people could just go on, but it wasn't the same because the people that were doing the factions and the storytelling were all on Doug.
Yep.
We also had a Livonia server that when that came out, and it was called Lug, and like it did pick up like the factions and storytelling that Doug has, but it became super toxic, I guess.
Oh really?
Because of like it was like faction warfare, and like it was like really hard for solo or whatever, and the staff team didn't have the capacity to do both servers, and so it eventually got sunsetted because the pop dropped too much. But we brought back the Livonia server recently, so this year, because we felt that we had the ability to, while I was still on staff, to cater to an audience that wanted
Hmm.
the Livonia server, the Livonia map, and the Doug experience with like the mod and the modded stuff and
Yeah.
the hardcoreness of it. So we do have a Livonia server that's open, no password or anything on it, and then we have the Doug server that has a password, um, but it's open to the public, but you have to find the password in the rules because we had an issue where people weren't reading the rules, and there was just a lot of griefing going on, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we were like, hey, if you read the rules, you get the password, you join the server. There's no excuse.
Right.
But we also had Doug EU server that we had.
Okay.
That wasn't really Doug though. I think that was ran by some streamers that kind of wanted the same experience, but an EU server to have better ping and stuff. So they kind
Yep.
of ran that side of things, but it was under like the Doug name was Doug EU.
Gotcha. Now, do you guys have any contact with the devs at all anymore? Is there any bridge to those guys that
Yeah, I
exists?
think some people on the staff have talked to Scotty and some of the others that are newer. They who is it? Lad, I think, is one of their designers. He's in our Discord. He's asked us to try some stuff out for like that he's been working on. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
for DayZ or not, but like we have instant death on headshot, so you don't get to like that few seconds where you see people. So
Oh,
if you get
really?
headshot, you're just dead. Like you don't see where it came from, who it was, so it adds, it's a little more harder than,
Was
vanilla.
that not how it's always been?
No. So when you get shot and you die, you get the animation of you falling, and you get to kind of see the world around you as you're, and then it goes to black and says you are dead.
Huh.
Um yeah, it's like it's only a couple seconds, but it's enough where you're like, oh shit, I can see where I got shot from if you like look at
Yeah.
the right spot. But yeah, on Doug, if you get shot in the head, it just goes black. And that's
Huh.
from one of the developers, the DayZ developers that asked us to try it out.
Yeah. Do you feel like is the community clamoring excuse me, clamoring for like a DayZ 2? Like,
I think
what is
people
the
are
pulse of everything now?
for the Doug community. I think they're the core of it is they're Doug players. Like they're gonna
Yep.
play whatever it is as long as it's Doug. Um, Obviously people play different servers and stuff, but DayZ 2 is just, it's been so long since everyone's speculated about it and everything that it's kind of like died down. It's not as like prevalent. But anytime like the
Yeah.
devs release something that kind of hints towards it, like when they had all like these streamers go out to the Bohemia building and run around the real life Chinaris and take pictures and
Mhm.
stuff. And they kind of, there's a few things where they're like the streamers asked, they're like, "Hey, is DayZ 2 in the works?" And they're like, "Oh, we're not going to comment on that." It's like little stuff like that that kind of gets
Yep.
people excited, but I don't think it's as hyped up as it could be, I guess. But
Yeah.
people are pretty content with the DayZ that they have because it's what they got.
I was gonna say, because it's all
Yeah,
they
it's
have,
all they
yeah.
have. Yeah.
So if you, let me ask you this then, have you ever tried, like, Scum? Have
I
you
haven't.
ever, like
I watched Scum when it first like was in development, and I was like, "Oh, that's super fucking cool." Um, and like all the like little details that they had, I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool. Like maybe that'll fucking beat out DayZ." And then as it got more into development, I think they did too much, and I was like, "Nah, this is not a game I want to play."
Yeah, it doesn't, like
It like went above and
I
beyond what I was expecting, and I was like,
yeah, but again, that the thing that 'cause I've had that conversation with people, long after leaving Doug too,
yeah."
like, where me and some of the OG dudes that are in other communities or whatever before would talk, and, like, I don't like, what is it about DayZ that still separates it from any other, um, uh, competition, you know what I mean? Such as Scum, such as, Miscreated, or God, I mean, we could probably sit here for a while just naming off ones that have tried to take a piece of
Yeah,
that
Dead
pie, but
Side, I think is another one.
Dead Side, yeah, that was another one I was thinking of, but I don't think any of them compete with the world that
Yeah, the
Bohemia creates.
I think the environment and just like I don't know, it's the combination of a lot of things. I think it's the community and the people that play the game and like the communities that you are like adopted into, I guess.
Yeah,
Because like I couldn't, if there's a DayZ 2 and there's no Doug, I'm probably not playing a lot of DayZ 2.
yeah.
It's like this is what I enjoy, and I've found something I really like, and a lot of people have, and I don't think uh I'm trying to like I don't know how to put it into words, but I think DayZ captures like a perfect balance of a lot of things. I mean, there's all the jank and everything, but I think it's like the balance of like the fear of losing everything, the intensity of getting into a gunfight, the quiet time between the fights and interactions, the
The quiet time is just as important,
yeah, it's
like, or the go ahead.
no, I think it's just like a really good balance, and I don't think any game has been able to like hit that.
I remember there like
I'll ask him, Diesel.
a moment that stands out in DayZ. Like, the DayZ, because of how stories happen in it, it's so easy to remember things and encounters you have, right? But there was a time I was in one of the markets. It was at nighttime, and I was doing something on one side of the wall, and all of a sudden I hear somebody changing out a mag or doing something like on the other side of the wall, and it was like
Heart starts
shit,
pounding.
like fucking pounding, bro. And it was like, you reach out and try to talk and like, hey, like, I hear you over there. Are we about to get into it or not? You know what I mean? Like just that, like that moment of just trying to get away I don't even remember what happened from there. I think I might have killed the dude because I think he tried to like come around and come at me and I was just ready for it. But uh, just those little things, just make such a great experience, But
Yeah. I feel like
but I always felt like go ahead.
I feel like the other games don't capture that though. Like it's either too fast or it's not there's not enough time in between or like there's something off about when I've tried playing like DayZ clones or whatever, um I just feel like they don't get it right and I don't know what it is.
No, they don't. Now I do feel like, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm a bit biased because I have a lot of
All
hours in
right,
it. But Hunt
Hunt
Showdown.
Showdown. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding.
So, but Hunt takes that experience that you have in DayZ, where you get those
Thanks for the
encounters
sub,
with
Dante.
people, and it distills it down into small match increments. Right now, granted, it doesn't have those small moments that we were talking about, those chill moments where you're just trying to find food, you're just eating in a forest, you're cooking a thing or whatever. Like those don't exist in Hunt, right? So you're not going to get that there, but you still start off and you're around nobody, and you can stalk people just like you do in DayZ, and the environment is really well done. So you can go hide in bushes. There's sound cues that you really have to be mindful of, and so that element of stalking people that you have in DayZ exists there, and it's permadeath. I mean, but there's no you're only you're only playing for gameplay loop, right? Like because
Yeah.
in DayZ you actually have gear and other shit that you care about that you're like, damn it. But in Hunt, I mean, once you play for long enough, like you don't give a shit if you die. Like it's whatever.
Hi, Christine.
Your character, you don't care about the weapons, you don't care about the traits you got. Like it's just whatever. And then I play the game again. But
Yeah.
DayZ, it's like how many hours led up to building the character that you had at the time.
Yeah, fucking
But
hurts.
I
It
know, but
hurts,
I do miss it. Like trust me, man.
Yeah.
I really, really hope that sometime soon a DayZ 2 comes out and it gets it right. I mean, not to say that
Yeah.
DayZ's wrong. I don't mean it like that. I mean, there's plenty of reasons to play it and enjoy it, and I think people just deal with the zombies or they deal with some of the other jank because the
What's up,
other stuff
Lobster?
is so good.
Yeah.
But
I have a question from chat for you.
yeah.
Are you disappointed with what DayZ has become versus what you originally expected when it started? Like overall?
Yes and no. I know that's probably a cop out sounding thing. I think even Dean Hall said it before. Like the game that they probably would want to create, it wasn't possible in the engine that they were doing in real virtuality. Thus the Infusion engine. But even at least as I know it now, the Infusion that DayZ is quote on right now is still different than the Infusion that say Armor Reforger is on. Because if you go spend any time with Armor Reforger, you could tell it's miles beyond movement wise and a lot of other things, vehicle driving physics wise. There's a whole lot of things that graphics wise that it does better. I mean, hell, even DayZ as it exists now, when you go play on Cherno, I mean, you're still running around all these buildings that were created for Arma 2, Operation Arrowhead, in like fucking 2009, 2008. The buildings are old, and it's like there's no way that those buildings would be made to that level in today's 2026. You know what I mean? Like, so disappointed in it. I think you just wanted to see it catch up to current standards, but I think the Bohemia team wants to do it by their rules, aka I'm sure you've heard people clamor this on the subreddits and shit like that. Everyone's like, why not just go to Unreal Engine and just be done with all the other stuff? But it's like, Unreal Engine is probably not capable of doing what they do. So they're going to have to create this, whatever the modern Infusion engine is going to look like, which I imagine Arma 4 will be the first iteration of it. But at the same time, like, not disappointed, man, it's still going strong, like it still has to this day still has great Steam numbers. Like it's the magic is still there. So you might have, as you do with anyone in life, like some people just tire out of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. People move on. But I had a great 5-6 year run of DayZ, like or whatever it ended up being. But I still wait around for that next round of it to come in, and hopefully that it entices me back, because I still don't, like we said, I don't think anyone's gotten it right. Now, granted, for those that don't, I'm a huge Star Citizen backer, so I think there's
I'm
some
sorry.
stuff. Yeah, right. But there's the road for Star Citizen. I mean, it it looks pretty bright. I know people want to just jump on the scam citizen-y stuff and all that, but I don't. I think that's people that don't know a lot about what's really happened and where it's come from and where it's going. So, but DayZ is still a different game. So I think at least in my arsenal, there's room for both. But
Yeah. Would you in the near future, would you come and play some Doug?
sure,
You would
absolutely.
I'll take you on
Yeah,
an
we'll have to
adventure
set
with
that up.
us. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd
we'll
be
have to do
fun.
that. So my game time usually is easiest to pull off like Saturday, Sunday mornings, you know what I mean? When like
Yeah.
wife is sleeping or kids are sleeping, like that's usually when I get my good uninterrupted game time. But occasionally I'll play in the evenings, but it's not a lot. I don't play games as much as I used to, and like I told you, even last night I took both kids to a concert. So
Yeah.
me and my son are concert junkies, so
Yeah.
we're always out and about. But no, dude, I'd love that, man. That'd be fun.
All right. Yeah.
Who are the biggest factions right now?
I mean, we have different it's a little bit different structure than you guys had back then. So now we have groups, like official groups and official factions, and then we have unofficial groups. So like unofficial groups are people that, just started playing on the server, they run with their friends, and we, keep a record of their rosters and stuff. Just so like if something happens, we know who's with who, and we don't have to fucking sort through a bunch of bullshit. Um, and then official groups are people that like posted on the Reddit, waited a certain amount of time, and kind of are bringing more to the server than a.
Hmm.
And then factions are like they're the they're supposed to be the like definition for what a Doug player is supposed to be, or a Doug group is supposed to be. So we have like Darkest Midnight, Forsaken Loyalist, Fireflies, Overlook.
I feel like
Someone help me.
Fireflies have been around forever.
Yeah, Harry Churches started the Fireflies. I don't know when though. That would have been a while ago too.
It just sounded familiar.
Um, but yeah, Darkest Midnight's probably the oldest group. They've been around for what, fucking 10 years now,
Oh man.
roughly, or 8 years, something like that.
So they have their own regions that they
Yeah, they.
control and occupy, and
Oh, you're thinking about Firekeepers. That's true. Yeah, not Fireflies. You're thinking about Firekeepers
okay.
or like Guardians and stuff like that back in your day.
No Trinara Straza anymore.
No, no. First, no. We have Cult of Papa is still around. They do some interesting stuff.
Dude, that shit was funny because all of us mods and all of us people all had our alt subreddit account with our Trinara Straza thing. We're always trying to type in the Russian like
I
accent.
love reading
So
those.
it
Yeah,
was
I go
so
back and read
funny,
them.
dude.
Yeah,
I can't even remember. I think I was Leonid. Can't remember who I was.
talking to the guy who founded Doug,
I chose a name that was
started
from a
Doug.
book I read called Monstrum. It was about a serial killer and a whatever. I think I chose the detective name from that shit. But that shit was fun though, man. It was funny.
Yeah,
And even in the game though, trying to speak with a Russian accent, oh man, it was funny.
yeah. People do it still to this day, like try to talk in the Russian accent, and some are really good and some are really bad. But it kind of makes the
Yeah,
moment,
it makes it. Yeah, yep, absolutely. That shit's funny, dude.
Yeah.
Well, there's one other question I don't think that was on there. I don't. We got to go,
Yeah.
or I'm
No,
getting
I
close
got
to
time,
it.
man.
Having persistent, how do you feel about the growth of both? I guess we kind of talk about that.
Yeah.
That one that Ren asked.
Yeah.
Um, No, it's great to see. I'm glad to be here. You know, glad to be there 5 years ago with Boyd, and you know, I think you know it goes to testament of the friendships you make through these journeys. You know, because I got stationed in England and in 2017, and so many of my friends through DayZ lived in England, and man, I mean, I literally stayed at Matt Lightfoot's house, and we all got drunk and went to a Star Citizen thing out there. It got smashed, and I took a lot of my military friends and some of my other DayZ friends, like at the guy FPS met veteran Mark. He's from London. Ross or Rossums that people could have known. He flew in from Scotland, and we picked him up, and that was the first time we'd all met. And you know, it just and then forever, like I helped Matt Lightfoot. He got a job. He left Bohemia and went to work for Cloud Imperium Games, Star Citizen, because they had a studio in Manchester, which is where he's from, and he wanted to get back. Um, so anyway, like man, me and Matt Lightfoot worked on his like resume and kind of went over like I remember spending so many hours like looking at some of that to try to help him because I wanted him to get that job at Star Citizen because that was like our new shit.
Yeah.
And he worked there for several years. And but anyway, I'm just like
It's a
I
small
still
world.
talk to these people. I still talk to these people to this day. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like it's just funny. My wife always thought it was funny. Like, what do you mean you have friends through the internet? Like, I'm like, man, I hang out with these people a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've
Like,
spent years
these
of my
aren't
life
just
with
like
these people.
acquaintances. Yeah, these are my friends. You know, like I don't just because they're online and digital and in another country doesn't mean that like it's not a real friendship. You know, and so um, yeah, like it was great. It was great seeing all those folks over time. You know.
Yeah. So I don't know if when you left this was the case, but there's been ooh, a bunch of servers that kind of tried to recreate the Doug community, I guess.
Hmm.
And like the feeling that Doug has. Um, but like I don't think any of them have actually lasted. And like even today, like fairly recently there's been some like that have tried to create the organic RP experience, I guess. Um, why do you why do you think they couldn't do what you did?
Well, I had the right people that they did not. You know what I mean? Like I like again, I knew who the key players were of the community. Like and to basically and to be honest too, I mean when you have the backing of the developers where the others don't, that obviously gives you a step ahead of the game. You know, the fact that we get our own damn server, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
our own private server that no one else got that. The only thing that the only that it did what's funny though is that getting our own first private server is not the luxury that people think that it is, right? Because the problem by getting one, and I don't remember if I mentioned this in the Boyd interview thing, and what I'm about to say is not to say that we weren't appreciative, but we were. But at the time we accepted the offer from Brian Hicks, we weren't aware of the drawbacks that it was going to come with, which is whenever we had issues with servers or the server, none of us had the ability to do anything about it. We had to rely on Hicks for everything. Well, Hicks is over here trying to build a game. He ain't got time for us that need to ask him for shit and to do things, you know? So like it always felt bad to go, hey, Brian, there's an issue with the server. Do you mind helping us out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but if we had had our own server, because like, trust me, there were times that we were like, man, fuck this shit. Let's go get our own server. And then that way we don't have to fucking worry about relying on Hicks. Like we could do our own shit, you know, because it was a fucking hassle. Um, but we stuck the course and just did what we had to do. But so having that leg up though with the devs and being and it wasn't just me. Like again, like most of the mod team were all these people that were either DayZ subreddit moderators, Steam moderators, Bohemia Interactive moderators. These were not just normal people trying to create like a community. It's not to say those weren't good people too. I mean, there could be good people can be everywhere, but we had connections others didn't. Now, and it was because of the work that we had put into the community, right? It wasn't just unfounded connections. It was people that had been there since the the beginnings. And so the fact that we united everybody under the banner of DayZ Underground and not just allowed everyone to go be tribal off in their spaces, allowed kind of a better fostered community of people that knew what the real DayZ experience was. And the fact that we took people from the community, not just the mods, we took all of the fancy pants people that were cared about it. Like it propped it up, and so it built a foundation of longevity. I think that the others didn't really have, and it doesn't help when you have a cool name like DayZ Underground that had exclusivity that we would not just allow anyone in. Like though all of those little factors there created a mystique about it that no one else had, and then two, like that we, back then we didn't have to pay for a server, so we weren't trying to get money from anybody. We weren't trying to, you know what I mean? It was just different. Like I never wanted people to feel as though, man, fuck that crew. Like you can go pay them $20 and they're going to give you the backpack with the M4s and a full kit of gear, and you know what I mean? Like you see some servers out there that do that kind of stuff that's like, really, bro? Like you're just paying to win into gear?
Yeah, you'll be happy to know that Doug has been community funded. Other than I think 1 year where one of the staff members paid for a year of server hosting. But other than
I
that,
think I
it's
remember that, and I
just
think I
based
remember
on
who that
donations.
was.
So we've
I
stuck
think who
stuck
that
to it.
was. No, that's great. I think that's that's the way to go about it to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't like fathom wanting to go pay for a gun in a video game where like the whole point of the game is to find the gun. It
yeah,
just
the
doesn't.
reward of
Yeah.
finding the gun. Now, like if a servers that
Schneider?
start you off with some.
Shendar? Is that? Do you remember that name?
That sounds familiar.
Shiendar or
I think
something?
so. I'd have to
But
see
that's
it
who paid for
spelled.
the.
But I think so. And I think he either became a mod at the very end of my stint or shortly after it. But I think he was part of the community while I was around.
Hmm.
He's European, right?
I'll have Diesel
I
answer. He was
I
from Norway. Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. So he paid for a year, and then since then it's been 100% community funded through donations, and that's probably never gonna not be that. And
Yeah,
in
that's
like the
cool, man.
community, just like if we're like, hey, like server costs are coming up. If anyone wants to donate, please donate, and they'll like people are glad to donate the money for all the hours that they've spent on the server. So it's really cool.
No, I like that, man. It makes it easy too to run a community when you don't have to like sweat some of that too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does Doug have any merchandise? Did it ever end up selling
We
shirts
do,
or doing
yeah.
any of that kind of stuff?
All the money
Yeah.
goes back into the server to like pay for mods or the server cost or web hosting and stuff like that. But yeah, any money that comes to Doug goes right into uh right back
See,
into
I
the
would have
server.
like where I would have been with it, and this is shit that I would have done with Squad League too and stuff like that. Where I would have gone with it is, like, say you had a surplus of money, right? Like, because sometimes you can be like, dang, what are you gonna do with it? Like, we got enough money to pay for 5 years worth of server hosting or whatever. I would want to take some of that money and pay for modders to go do, like, say if there's some things that we wanted to make the Doug experience better,
Yep.
like I don't pretend to act like I know what those would actually be in DayZ's environment right now, given where the state of the game is and what kind of mods are available and all that. But like I would want to, like, even when I ran Squad League, right? Like I routinely bought people stuff to thank them for their time, but just to show that I appreciate it. Just like one guy that used to work on videos and stuff, he just didn't have a hard drive big enough to do some things. So I was like, bro, what's your address? So he's like, well, here. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got a new hard drive. It's on the way to you. Like, look, I know you need it, but you do other stuff too. But I just want to show you appreciate what you do, But those were out of my own pocket at that time. But
Yeah.
um, I loved doing shit like that. But if you could do that with mods, and then because then it starts having modders that feel like they're appreciated for contributing to something, you know what I mean? And they get, and I'm not saying you're going to pay enough to them so that they can live life, right? I'm just saying that, like, hey, here's some coinage for your troubles and for your contributions, you know. But anyway, that's the kind of shit. Like, I always like, how can you take it to give back to the community that puts so much into you?
Yeah, we do that. We like the dogs. We have urban threats, I guess, that we had commissioned. So we
Hmm.
paid like a modder from another community to kind of help us with that, and like the person to do the retextures and stuff like that. So the surplus money, if we do have any left over, does go to like I mean, we also got, what is it, the customized door mod now on the server that doesn't exist anymore. We paid the owner of that mod, like, hey, would you be willing to let us use it? We'll give you some cash, stuff like that. So
No,
Doug
that's fucking
Doug does that.
awesome.
We try to work with the other members of the community in different communities in DayZ to make make Doug even better. So yeah, the mod's called Even More Doors.
So what does that do?
So you can make, so it's not like the big gates. It's, you can make like a smaller double door, or like a single door, and it's
Hmm.
just a better way to, like, block off a building if you want to. And it's more of like efficient, and like
So can people like take over buildings now and make that their base?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
No shit. And that's not
yeah.
vanilla, right?
No, not vanilla. That's available
Yeah.
on Doug and only a
But,
few
but
other
I don't know if you
servers.
remember this. They used to talk about that in vanilla back in the day. Dean Hall and them did that. They wanted you to be able to board up windows, board up doors, and
Yeah,
I think their initial idea. You there?
yeah. Your mic just cut out. You're good.
Okay. Yep. One sec. Let me hook up.
All right.
I think that they wanted to do it to where you could take over buildings to become bases and stuff, but um, it's cool to see the mods can knock that out though. You know.
Yeah, and then Doug has its own mod that ammo kind of looks over and after, and the rest of our mod team kind of works on. But we have a lot of custom stuff, like scars for players' faces, face paint, uh, like things that aren't vanilla that are just available on Doug.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's
Um,
that's why people play the server. Like, there's no other server that does what we do and does it as well consistently.
but see, but that's why the longevity's there. You know what I mean? Like that level of investing into itself through the community that gives back to it just continues to propel it, you know, and so it becomes a thing that will never, you know, the only thing that would take it down is like a mod team or a group that just says, all right, we're done, and just shuts it down, or you know, or you had some bad actor mod that came in that somehow poison pilled the whole thing and ruined relationships with everyone, and then everyone fucked off that way, you know. But
Yeah, it would take a lot, I
uh,
think.
I agree. But I mean, like I said, I mean, here it is, 12 years later or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah,
But no, I think it's awesome,
yeah.
and
If
I loved running community. When I say running, I don't mean it like lording over I love building communities, right? Like it forever it was my thing. I like if a game got announced that I thought might be in the wheelhouse of something I love, I was trying to snake that damn subreddit so fucking fast um to find out what, like, cuz I knew that I cared about shit the right way, and you could never guarantee that other people would. So I would always like, can I go get that, and can it be something new to start and work on? You know, so, and even then, I don't know if you know this too. I created a gaming underground towards the end of DayZ Underground to try to. All right, I might not be in DayZ right now, but I am into other things, and I like the community stuff. So, what if we started a whole thing called the gaming
organization.
underground that could handle a lot of games, and then that way people could kind of come and go into their passions and do different stuff. You know what I mean? So then somebody like me could still be around, but okay, well, I want to be part of Star Citizen Underground for a while. So the underground thing would become the scene,
The
you know what I
brand,
mean? But
yeah.
the brand, you know, and then just Doug was the start of it, and then, but I don't remember, and I think Gaming Underground still
It
exists.
does still
I'm guessing.
exist
Yeah.
because when I was looking for DayZ Bulletin years ago, I found that you had started those other subreddits, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yep.
he was trying to make it into something a bit more."
Yeah, shit, I'm not even on there anymore. It's fucking Demon Groover, Matt Lightfoot, and Ace.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I thought that would, man, 9 years ago. Was the last post on that shit. Um, the Wandering Zaj. I remember that name. Um, but yeah, man, like I don't know, DayZ Underground ain't going anywhere. I mean, or the other thing that could take DayZ down is DayZ itself crumbling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I mean,
I
I don't
can't
see
see
that at
that
this point.
happening.
Nah, it's not. I mean,
Too late for that.
Arma 1 has been around for 20 plus years or whatever it is now, and it's still cranking. And DayZ is their most popular game ever, I think,
Mhm.
by a long shot. I can't remember, but let me see that. What is the sales?
Arma 3 might be up
DayZ
there. I'm not even sure.
versus Arma 3. DayZ has generally outperformed Arma 3 in total lifetime sales, with estimated pace of well over 11 million copies on PC alone as of 2024, while Arma has passed
Wow.
10 million. But even then, though, DayZ does something else that Arma cannot account for either, in that Arma 2, Operation Arrowhead, which the DayZ mod was built on,
Yeah.
like that, those sales of that game had peaked and had long since vanished. DayZ mod comes along and made Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead skyrocket. So they had a sales of Arma 2 for that game that had come and gone, and then had a mod that realistically should almost be counted as part of DayZ's influence and sales.
Yeah.
Sold that game a whole shit ton more, and then got to double dip on DayZ Standalone and get all of those people as well. So DayZ is
Super
leaps and bounds.
profitable. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, DayZ 2 isn't it. To me, it's like, no, it's not. There's not a question, is it happening? It's just when and how many people do they have currently working on it? Because I don't. Whatever happened, I don't know if you remember this, but DayZ Bohemia bought a whole studio out of Bratislava that had worked on like Deer Hunter games or some shit like that, because they wanted them and their wildlife and their AI skills and all of that. There was like 90 people that were on that team, and they brought them into Bohemia, and like DayZ's team was fucking ginormous for a while. And then all of a sudden it just goes down to what was it, like 10 or 12 people that were like the skeleton crew that were limping along DayZ, and they said don't expect any more big updates anymore. We're just working these little onesie twosie things. And it's like, in my mind, like, you don't do that unless you're moving all these people over to DayZ 2. Now, whether or not you've kept all 90 people from that Bratislava studio, who knows, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
on some insider take or anything, but it's like, you have to start getting ready for that. Like, you have to look at Churnerus and go, look at those art assets. They're old as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, we have to update this shit. Like, we have to try to make a game that is less jank, like that can be served on consoles and whatever. Like, again, look at Arma. Like, and even then, like Arma Reforger. Arma Reforger was almost dead on delivery.
Yeah.
Like, and went like a year or two with nothing really. I don't remember the time was. I bought it right away too to go check it out. But once that shit hit consoles, and I think more specifically like PS5, I don't know if it was both at the same time, it exploded. And then once the numbers were there, people came back. And I don't know what it is right now, if it's still holding steady, but man, I like, if you go look, the Arma Reforger subreddit, I think, is pretty big.
It's been growing.
95,000.
Yeah, you didn't hear a lot about it when it first dropped, but it's like with modding and everything, it's been getting super popular. Like I see a lot more news around Reforger, like more recent.
Yeah. No, that took me to Arma Reforger. Oh, Arma. Okay, hold on. So 74,000. Are those both the same? No. No, they're they're the same size the Reddits are. But like even if you go right now, like how many people are actively at the Arma Reforger subreddit? 3.4 thousand versus 710 on Arma.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying like the number of people that are I think that are ready to move on to an engine that is more in line with current technology and standards and all of that. I'm saying it like DayZ 2 when that shit hits, like the amount of people like the DrBigMoneys or the Sacrials or the whoever else was big back
Yeah.
then. I bet the people that will come back in droves for that shit. And then DayZ Underground will like have a renaissance explosion.
Yeah.
Be like,
Hopefully, yeah.
like, yeah. But then there'll be people like, no, I don't want to play DayZ 2. I want to stay on the
Yeah.
original DayZ, the OG experience. And you'll be like,
People that can't
fuck you,
change, you know.
fuck you. No, it's DayZ 2 time. Like, so then you'll at that point you guys will have to manage two communities. You'll have the DayZ 2 community and then you'll have the DayZ community.
Yeah, I don't know what that'll look like if Doug would stay. I mean, as long as DayZ Standalone is around, you know. I don't know if we'd probably let the community decide whether they wanted to stay or move everything over to DayZ too. I don't know how that would work. I guess we'll see
if it were
when it
me, like
happens.
I would do it. Like I would be of the mind of like, look, all right, Doug is going to fucking DayZ 2. Like we're not even discussing that. However, if a portion of the community or even the mod team would rather like stick with that other side and keep that going, because to try to like divide everyone by the two to manage both, that probably won't be very feasible and everyone would just burn out, right?
Yep.
But some people might be really excited for the new hotness and move over, and even then though, I don't know why people wouldn't want to move over. Like it's DayZ but better. You know what I
Some
mean?
people are
Like
stubborn, man.
I know they are. There's no doubt. But I'd be like, nope, DayZ 2, here we go. But and I doubt they do like an early access to that shit. I think people are burnt out on the early access stuff. So
Oh, I'm
my
sure,
guess is
yeah.
DayZ. No, I don't know. Arma 3 had early access, but it wasn't the same early access that DayZ had.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work if they just drop. I, it's got to be finished. If it's DayZ 2, you can't be like, oh, here's all the same bugs, you know.
Oh
And like
no!
here's early access, and we're still working on
Here-
fixing everything.
Here's
You're
all
like, oh,
the
I want
same
a
jank.
jankier new DayZ. Yeah.
Like you still fall off ladders and die.
Yeah.
You know,
Break your leg
or
walking onto a
steps or
curb.
whatever. Yeah. Like or you hit a little bush and the car exploded. You know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. This is one. Here was a controversial thing back then that I still probably to
Not
this
allowed
day
to.
hate. I hated helicopters back then.
Yeah. Doug has never implemented helicopters. They have them, like expansion has them, and you can mod them in. I think they take away from the core gameplay because you could go the whole map in 2 minutes. You know.
Yeah, and even then, how the technology is for DayZ, aka the old real reality, the early infusion engine is nothing's hidden. Like you get up there and go fly by, you can spot every goddamn base. Like there's no hidden base, there's no hidden vehicle. You immediately know where everything is, all in one shot. Like
Yeah,
I just hated it.
Yeah.
And then you just if you have a if you are the biggest faction or group on the server, you could just hoard all the helicopters, and then now you're the only one that has access to going and doing that. And then you just go spot out and point out where everyone's bases are. Like I hated helicopters with a passion. Like, but if you're gonna have a map as big as say Arma 3's is, you know, like I still probably wouldn't want helicopters to be honest. Like I just don't. Like no, make it a journey. Yeah.
If you were gonna do them, they'd have to be handicapped. Like you could only see in first person. Like, you know, like you get in the heli, you could only see out the windshield, and then you'd have to like maneuver the helicopter to see everything if you wanted to.
Yeah, but if you had somebody sitting in a door and had the door open and looking down, I guess I don't know. But I think if like a DayZ 2 had like normal base building, but also you could take over buildings, you know, then it's just, well, that building always existed. And so you might not know the level of somebody has built out an interior of one of the buildings to make it their base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that, the base might be kind of pseudo disguised. Whereas like if for me, like I was talking to Boyd the other day because he said he plays a lot of Rust, and I'm like, man,
Can't stand
like
Rust.
Rust is a great game, right?
It
Like
is,
I
yeah.
think by all accounts, it's a great game. I said, but man, when you're in your 30s or now 40s, and you have kids and you barely get time to play, and I'm gonna go log in on a Saturday, I'm gonna put in some good work, I'm gonna make a cool base with some friends, and I go log in the very next morning, and that shit is completely destroyed by the kid who lives in their mom's basement, who just does nothing but play. And now it's like, dude, my 6 hours I spent yesterday is worthless. Like it meant nothing. Like, and after you do that for like a couple times, you're like, nope, I'm done. Like the fact that I could be killed while I'm logged out, like, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm not down with that. So I mean, good game for those that want to go play that, but I can't get down with that shit.
Yeah,
At
it
least
doesn't
on
sound
DayZ, I
fun.
can log off with my good stuff, and I'm not fucked with.
Yeah, I agree. I've never found the appeal of Rust. I've seen some videos and stuff. I don't think I've ever played. But it just seems like like an immature version of Daisy. I don't know. I don't know how else to
Well,
describe it.
it's kind of like where you took the poison pills from DayZ,
And put them
like
all into the same game.
like the griefer extraordinaires have gone the way of that, and but however, there are, I think Boyd mentioned it, like they curate their own server, and there's people that can do some that are probably don't have the sweat lords as much, or they do mods to protect the bases, and
Yeah.
there are ways in which people have tried to thwart some of that stuff, but
But
I mean, it's just straight PvP Lord Town.
yeah. Yeah, it's just not the type of game I would have fun in.
No, but
Um so if what was yeah, if you could give one piece of advice to someone launching a DayZ community today, like not just a Doug community or something like that, but just launching a community because you have a lot of experience building communities from the ground up. What would your advice be to them when building it?
mm, mm, I don't know. I'd say like, what are you in it for? Like, what's your angle? Like, are you out to create an empire for yourself? Are you out to make money for your org or yourself? Are you just trying to create a cool role playing community? Um, like, and even then, like, so okay, so if that's what you're gonna do, how are you gonna reach people? Like, especially in something that, like, I don't even know that you could do it in DayZ, right? Because DayZ is so established, the communities have been around for so long, the different varieties of kinds and mods and all that shit, that I don't, in a DayZ space, I don't know that you could do that very well. Like, but even then, like, have you earned your stripes where people would want to follow you into whatever community you're creating? Like I had already made a name for myself in the DayZ sphere as far as being a helpful person. Like I didn't ever stream or do YouTube stuff. I didn't. I was just a very involved member of the community, and people knew that my heart was in it for the right place, so people trusted me more. You know what I mean? They knew I wasn't coming from a position of trying to take advantage of people or the devs or the community or whatever. So I think really it just kind of just depends on what you're trying to attack. But I think nowadays like you could only be able to do that on, say, another game I like, that I'd waited around forever, called Hightail. You ever heard of Hightail?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've waited around for that. I was going to create a mod for Hightail called High Grounds. It had a logo made for it. We owned the website for a while. We were going to create a game mode for it that was a pseudo battle royale, but instead of it, everyone would start on like a coast, a la DayZ, in the beginning, and everyone would be running, say, towards a visible object off in the distance. And in this case, it was going to be like a castle where people are vying for their right to get in and admitted, like to become knighted into this kingdom or whatever. But I was going to have it where everyone starts off on the coast, you have nothing, and then you go into like say the tier 1 zone, like you're running towards the kingdom, which could be, let's say, 3 kilometers off in the distance, and everyone's trying to loot like you would in PUBG and all these other things, and uh trying to gear up. And then like I would have mechanisms that would kick in that would key everyone to getting into the tier 2 section, and the tier 2 section would be like say where the fighting might start. But I wanted it to fork in the road where if you were to go on the western side of this map, like your looting through that side might be more traditional bows and arrows and maces and swords and all that kind of shit. And if you went the right side, which, and I'd have it to where it'd be divided, say, by a river, right? Like, dude, I have game design documents, all kinds of shit on this thing. And so I had like a river that would divide it so you could see into both sides, but the right side would be more magic driven. And so you would be getting potions or getting other things on one side, staffs and whatever, where you would do that. And tier 3 is where the big proponent of your showdowns would really start. And then I wanted to get it to where like the final, say tier 4 would be, you have now gotten into maybe with only 4 or 5 people into say the final arena, and now you're fighting to the death at that very thing. Whoever wins, then you say you'd have animations that would open the gates to this community, and boom, you would go. And so I wanted to do it where you would have each biome would have like its own kingdom that would represent, and you could have different maps and different things that would be for each one. So then that would kind of make it so where, hey, even the kingdom for this darker biome that's real moody or whatever, you would make a castle and an environment that would reflect that. And anyway, it was just a potential neat take on trying to do something, because the community with which the Hytale creators came from, which is called Hypixel for Minecraft, was built on the backs of PvP type game modes and stuff, you know? So, but we started that like right away when Hytale got announced in like 2018, 2019. Well, 2018 is when, December 2018 is when it got announced, but it just never fucking went anywhere. Then Riot Games bought it out, and you know, like life moves on again and people go their different ways. And so it just, it sits there. So now it's like one of those communities that's like, do I want to pick that up? Do I want to go do something? Because I have no skills. I mean, I could use AI to help me figure it out if I wanted to, but like I have no skills in the art of actual coding to build the thing. I could probably deal with some map making stuff, but anyway, like that's an example, like for me, like of a community I would want to go create where there's the clay or the soil is fertile. There's not a lot of stuff that's been established there. There's not any kind of big game mode mods that have taken over. Like you could probably truly build so, and then that the dev team is all about modding and propping up stuff like that. So, you know, that's like something for me that I would go, is that worth my time? Probably not right now in life, but that's something that I had put a lot of thought of and stuff to create. So I think you'd have to just find your place. Like where would something like that fit in? Like what are you trying to do? I don't know that it's possible in DayZ when you're facing down the barrel of Doug and what other communities are big right now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's even Doug has tried to recreate Doug and it didn't work. Like it was we tried with different servers
How
and
so?
stuff, you know.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah,
what? Like
just
doing what?
trying to create the same kind of atmosphere with like the Doug EU stuff or the Livonia originally. It's never been the same. Like I don't know, there's something very special about what we've done here.
Yeah, I don't know how lightning in a bottle, and again the right kind of foundation, the exclusivity, and you know the idea of people want into something that they can't get into at the time, you know. I think a lot of that lended itself to a hype that no one else could kind of capture, you know what I mean? Like cuz even then when people started doing the videos, like some of those early YouTubers and shit, then people like see that and they want in on it, and then they're realizing like, what do you mean I can't get in there? Well, how do I get in there? Like, what? There's this group out there that is selective about who they even let in? Like, well, fuck, I want in on that. That's cool. You know?
Yeah. I mean, when I first started, that's like I was like, "Oh shit, there's a whitelist." I was like, "Fuck, how do I get?" And then I read the application. I'm like, "Ah, shit, I don't know if am I the right person?" You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like watching videos and I'm like playing regular DayZ and I'm like, "Man, this like the gameplay loop's fun, but I want more. I want more." And I remember the server that had a whitelist and all right, I'll apply. And then I got denied and I was like, "Fuck." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no."
Why was I denied?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then once I like fully understood like what Doug was and what they were trying to accomplish is when I put in my application, I got accepted and I was like, okay, I get it. Like you want people that give a shit about the community as a whole, not just the server, but like as the other people you're playing with, and you're trying to create something that is enjoyable. And I think a lot of DayZ communities don't do that. They just kind of let whoever, and then they either I don't know how to describe it, but they either let the community run the server or they let the server run the community, and I think either way too far in either direction kind of fucks with
Yeah.
the the way it should work, I guess. I don't know.
No, I agree. It's a delicate balance, and then you have other people that might try to do takedown pieces and
Oh yeah, we've
you
had
know.
that recently.
Yeah,
I
I've
won't
my
get into it, but
no,
you'll see it on
I
the YouTube if you would like.
no, I've seen it already. My buddy Ross, who is one of the OGs,
Yeah.
told me about it. I was like, "Oh no!" Like
I got a
he
nice
said
shout out in that
something.
video. That
He
was
told me
nice.
something. Hey, what's up, buddy? Give me a second. I'm gonna feed you guys. All right. He Rossum sent me a video of or no, he told me about it. Like, oh shit, DayZ Underground's on fire right now. I'm like, what? No, like what fucking happened? And I'm like, and he finally said he watched the video or whatever, and he was like, no, he was like, no, this is bullshit. He goes, someone just acting like, oh, admin
Yeah.
abusers or whatever, and I'm like, we both were like, whatever. Like
Yeah,
that's not like someone's always gonna say some dumb shit, that.
yeah, we'll just say it was edited in a way that made it seem worse than it actually was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, but
I
yeah,
was
but
involved in
you're
that a
gonna
bit.
fight that if you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna have
Well,
13,000 people in your community, you're gonna have some slimy ass motherfuckers that are gonna do some shit that you just, But
yeah.
I think if people's karma or people's integrity is largely intact as the team, like you can survive that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not a big
we
deal.
so before that had happened, the server was pretty popular, and the pop didn't drop. Like no one was like, "Oh man, this," like it was already the people that we didn't want playing on the server that were not playing on the server. So it was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Like great." And
yeah.
yeah,
I
nothing really
appreciate it.
changed.
Yeah.
So, which was nice
Um,
because I was like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna look bad. A lot of people are gonna see it." And then I realized I'm like, "Oh wait, this person's community is not the type of people that we want playing DayZ with us." So we're like, "Cool, this just filtered out a lot of people that we didn't want anyway."
no, that's good. Well, yeah, I guess self healing, self removal is always good too.
Yeah.
That's what happened with us with squad league. Like we ran this big event, and the team that won this big clan battle, and it was, dude, I'm telling you, man, that shit had a chance to go really, really far and do really, really well. More so than even DayZ Underground, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but the team that won, everyone thought they were cheating, including a lot of the devs at the time. But we couldn't prove it. But there's just shit. They showed up out of nowhere. They were just getting kills that no teams really got. Like people getting 40 kills. It's like that doesn't happen in squad. Like
Mm.
something was weird about it. But anyway, like a bunch of the teams that lost after that, the thing, they're like either they're gone or we're gone. And these are the ones that were truly our friends and our the clans that we knew were about it for the right reasons. The same kind of thing that we did with Doug, right? These were the clans that were about it for the right reasons in the right way, trying to care about the game in the right way. And so we banned them after that shit. And the toxicity that just came forth was insane. And I was in the middle of PCSing to Korea, and my buddy Rusty, that was kind of like my right hand man with that shit, he had to deal with a large brunt of some of the vitriol that was coming through it. And I couldn't really be around because I had to move my family to another state. I had to move across the country. I'm in different time zones. Like, it was just really bad timing. So then he burnt out and was like, bro, I'm out of this. Like, and in my head, I'm just going like, we're doing all of this stuff and we are the primary community managers, really. There was a community manager, but he didn't do the shit we did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're not even getting paid for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to submit myself to this stuff. You know what I mean? Nor does he. And we were like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're out. Like, done.
No,
Like, that's when we had
we'll give
people
you a
that were trying
warning
to
and
like
like just let you
come
know.
in and like make names for themselves off of our back. That was just like, fuck you, bro.
So it's not just
And
DayZ. It's
no,
good to know.
no,
That's good
absolutely
to know.
not. That no, it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. So, hell, I don't even really play. I never even played Squad anymore after that shit. That was
It takes a lot out of you. In
it
fucking, it's
does. That was like,
exhausting. Yeah.
but DayZ even it it fixed me for how I look at early access games. And like, say for instance, Star Citizen.
Mm.
Like, I follow Citizen heavily. I've not tried to start a true community with it. I don't play it really all that much. Like, I'll check out a patch here or there just to see where it's at, but I don't want to ruin the game by the time 1.0 even drops. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what happened with me with DayZ Underground, or DayZ really, is that I played so much mod. I played so much of all the stuff getting ready that by the time DayZ 1.0 came out, and even then it wasn't the end all be all fix all that we were hoping it would be. It was just like, all right, you gave us a shitty inventory, you gave us a different skybox, um, and it was like a lot just wasn't really fixed, so it felt like a bit of a letdown at the time, especially the zombies, even, which still aren't fixed to the day,
Yeah.
and so it was just like, so with Star Citizen, it's like, all right, I do not want to let my burnout that happened with DayZ occur with Star Citizen. So I follow it. I'm excited about it, and I don't, but I let it be though. I don't play the game enough to get burnout.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
think
just do whatever else.
that's probably the best way to go about it, since yeah, you learn your lesson from DayZ and Doug.
Again, but I still go back to DayZ. Like
Yeah.
I still like to go check it out, and there's been periods where we've actually played quite a bit of it on it, and um, like even like say Livonia, I went to go play that, but then you're like, it just still looks like Chernarus in a different layout. Like, they're still
Yeah.
using assets that are from fucking like 10 years ago. Like, and I'm not saying they haven't made new assets to go with, but it's just like when you see some of the buildings that are in Cherno and Electro, and just, you're like, man, this shit's dated.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it'd be cool though, man. Like DayZ 2, like I obviously I keep bringing up that damn shit, but so obviously do a map that is new, right? But to me, like, if you do DayZ 2, you have to do a remake of Chernarus. Like, you
Oh, for
have to.
sure.
Like, it
Yeah.
like is at least a DLC, something like a year or two later. Like, hey, we've redone every building. There's no reused texture. The grass is new. The fucking trees are new. Everything is new, but it's Chernarus.
I would play the
Like,
fuck out of a
oh
brand new
my
Chernarus,
god,
dude.
people would fucking blow their loads on that shit, dude. That shit would be so dope. Like, but you'd have to do a different map first. And to me personally, I would rather see something like with English language, like maybe like some Scotland type map or something, or
Yeah.
I don't know, something, maybe America. I don't know, but pull us out of the Russian land.
Yeah.
Give us somewhere else.
I mean, like,
But
they got some cool modded maps like Deer Isle and Green Country, and those are all in like America or like English speaking
yeah,
places, which is like they're
yep.
really well done. I think some of them were a bit overdone, but I played Avalon this past like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and I
Hmm.
loved it's California, and
Oh, that's
it
cool.
was great. Like it's such a fun map. It's different, but it's very
You
fun.
said Avalon?
Yeah, Avalon's like it's a Catalina Islands. So it's made after those, and it's really it's a different feel to the game. You know, it makes DayZ feel new again playing stuff like that.
See
But
what this looks like.
yeah, I played the hell out of Avalon when it came out. My buddy Dago, shout out Dago Stank, who made Avalon PNW Pacific Northwest map, and Nihheim, which is like another kind of Pacific map.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
yeah,
that's kind of cool, man.
it's really fun. It's a lot. It's a little chaotic in the spawn town because like the big city that everyone spawns kind of near. Everyone's but you get some like really interesting interactions and stuff.
Um,
It's fun. Yeah.
did you ever play Armor Forger?
I haven't yet, but I do play DayZ, and I'm kind of in a group with some DayZ people that did the British mod for Armory Forger, like the one that got the award recently. He actually coded the whole thing and did the textures and stuff. I think he was part of the team that did that. I know it's called. It's like a full British rework. I'll try to find it.
I have to check that out. But no, the I used to play Wasteland on that. So that was fun. That's a good time.
Yeah, I do want to try it, and I know they have like the DayZ mod for Reforger. Like a DayZ version, but it's not like complete yet. Oh, this here, I'll share it in the chat. Just in case anyone's curious, this is a Doug member that did this. But I think Reforger has a lot of promise, and I'm really hoping that DayZ 2 or whatever they're going to call it, you know, takes a lot from it. It feels good, or it looks like it feels good at least.
Yeah. No, it does feel good. It like you. It there's still some jank there. I mean, it's Bohemia, so that
Yeah,
will
it's got to
happen.
be
But
there. Yeah.
but the point I think though is to again, it's Armor Forger is just a stopgap to Arma 4 as they continue to work on shit, you know. So, um, you should try it though. I mean, like the graphics look great. It's just you can feel kind of good about the direction that they're going. You know what I mean? To think that okay, we're in good hands. Is there some dumb shit? There always is, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's in a good place. Um, it's cool to see it kind of peak and take off. Let me see actually what it's at right now.
I know you got to get going soon.
Yep.
I do too, because the kid and wife just came home from shopping, so I got to go deal with them and take out the dog. But before you go, one more question.
Yeah.
If DayZ Underground had failed in its first year, what would you have learned or taken away from that? So, like, if you were like, I built this community and it, like, in first year is going well, and then, you know, it just dies out.
I think that would have just turned into like
community, right? That you built.
Yes. So that would have just turned into herding cats is harder than I thought. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, because it can be hard to convince people to do stuff in their spare time for free, right? For instance, like someone has to share your passion, right? Like you can't just like say even with Squad was kind of like, man, I'd rely on people that would create these like we did these posters for like a clan versus clan action, and we'd build these really cool posters with certain things, and I would give people artistic creativity to create the poster. I might give an idea and they would do this. But even with DayZ, it was a lot of that. And it was, you know, how do you get people? Because if I need people to do stuff for a game, like I have to be able to go follow up with them too and go, hey, where's this at? What are we doing with this? But can you do so in a way that is like, bro, I don't even have to do this for you. I'm doing this on my own time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to, the people that you get to help have to be people that it's what they want to. They want to be part of it. But if if none of that kind of came to be, like I wouldn't take it anything personal. I'd just look at it and go, well, you know, everyone's their own unique person and wants to do their own unique things, or you know, hey, what DrBigMoney wants is not what the other group wants. And if I were a person that said, nope, I don't care that you want to do factions this way, I want to do factions this way, you know, a bunch of the mod team might have left. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It could have went that way. But, you know, at least for me and how I would always build communities, I would look at it and go, all right, well, even though I think we could do something really cool with this, it's generally not what the gang wants to do. So cool, let's go the other route. And I didn't look back. You just cool, let's keep rocking then. Like, I'm not gonna dwell on that shit.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a thing that made me leave Doug. I mean, I was around Doug a long time after even we made that decision, so it wasn't like that played any factor in me staying or going or anything. I was just burnt out on DayZ and wanted new adventures. And plus, too, starting communities is fun, man. Like, it's fun when you get a bunch of people that are on the hopium and the hype train and fucking are in it, you know, like with you, you know. It's like, boom. That's why it was always important to keep DayZ's Underground's mod team and like leadership healthy with people that still have that. Like, you got to get rid of the people that don't. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because otherwise it gets stale and there aren't people trying to push the boundaries.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Well, I will wrap up here, but I need to remind you to get me in touch with Matt Lightfoot,
Yeah. Let me
and
do that.
uh and hit me up whenever you have some availability, and we will play some Doug together. Uh,
Yeah, no, absolutely,
I
dude. We
have
definitely
a group
don't
that,
make this the last time we talk. We can
yeah,
keep shooting the
of
shit.
course, yeah, yeah. We'll hop on
Oh, we
Doug,
gotta
and
add
we
each
can,
other on fucking Discord anyway. I
yeah,
don't think
yeah,
I
I'll
have you
add
as a
you.
friend yet. Yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
But yeah, no, let's definitely do that. I'll hook it up with me, you, and Matt today.
All right, sweet, sounds good.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it, man. And anyone else in the Doug community that ever wants to ask me questions and that shit, don't hesitate to tag me. Like, I'm around.
Yeah, hopefully you stick around for a bit, or at least keep. I know you probably check in every once in a while and stuff, but yeah, it was really good to talk to you, and
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sure
You
if
too,
I have
Matt. I
questions and
appreciate it,
stuff,
homie.
I'll reach out. But
Always, man.
all right, thank you, man. Take it
All right,
easy.
brother. Yep. Take it easy, man. Peace.
All right, you unsubbed to Spoonie. I don't need to know that. Roll Tide, like, cool. How's everyone doing? Strong work. Nice interview, Matt. Thanks. I'm gonna I got the dog whining. I'll do this. Turn this down a bit. I'm gonna wrap up, or probably cut this up into stuff, just clips and things. This is the first time you liked my stream. Thanks, dude. Thanks. That makes me feel really good. Yeah, I'm gonna bring him into the cops, and we'll run around with him and let him experience Doug. I don't think he's actually played on Doug in a long time, but he's played DayZ, so we'll get him a uniform and let him whack somebody with a baton. That's why you got the ban on my stream. That is why he got the ban originally. Who would have known the guy I unbanned became one of my biggest haters? Officer Money shall meet Waldorf. Officer Big Money. We're gonna have Cam back eventually too, running with us, and we're gonna have Reverend run with us. I actually got to message him today. We'll get him to run with us. So look forward to that. I could possibly be on tonight for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. The important question here is, who do I need to bribe to get a Stormtrooper helmet on Doug? Ooh. Other. You could just keep putting money in my PayPal. That'd be great. You'll never get the helmet, but just hook it up. Thank you for the $5, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna head out. But thanks for hanging out and asking questions. If you have anything you want me to pass along to DrBigMoney or questions or whatever, let me know and I'll get it to him. Take it easy, guys, and have a good day. Happy Monday. It is Monday, right? Yeah. Okay.